Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Steel City Resistance. My name is Hutch Jr., and I am located deep down in the bunker in the city of Pittsburgh. And we've got an exciting show for you tonight. And with that, let me activate the Southern Command and welcome Mr. J to the program.
Thanks, Hutch. The Southern Command is armed and operational.
Outstanding, outstanding. I'll tell you, this was a little bit of a hectic episode. I literally just got in the studio about 5, 6 minutes ago. Just walked in the door, but hey, the show must go on.
You're a professional, Hutch.
There you go. Uh, you know, we come into this week, or rather, we end this week, depending on how you look at it. And really, to me, Mr. J, the Republican Party is just smelling like an old dumpster. I mean, some things have happened in the last couple days that, they try to make it look like it's the Tea Party's fault. And I was thinking about this, and if these establishment people don't relax, there's a grave possibility that the Republican Party could die. I mean, I've come to that conclusion when I see this. You have a group of people. Let's lose titles for a second. You have a group of people that are interested in following the founding fathers' guidance, the founding fathers' Constitution, all the writings, the Federalist Papers, the actual ideas behind the written words that are written in the Constitution. You have a group of people that want to follow that. And you've got these corrupt politicians coming out from all over that are so corrupt that they want to visit amnesty on the country, amnesty of illegal aliens. And there's only two reasons for that. And on the left, it's votes and a permanent underclass, which again equals votes. And in some cases, in the business community, you want cheap labor. So the reasons are out there; they're clear. These people do not care about what happens to these people. They're using them, and you've got big corporations and big money buying off weak so-called Republican politicians, and it makes me sick.
You're dead on, and I got to tell you, if these Republicans don't wise up, like you said, the party could die. There's a real possibility that a third or more of the electorate could just stay home because, you know, voting for another rhino, so to speak, is no different than having a Democrat in there. And I don't know if you saw it, but Arizona, another county, has voted to censure um, John McCain. And, that means they won't support anything that he does, his campaign or anything. And it's interesting. I think that's the fourth or fifth county to do so, a big one. Maricopa County, they've had enough. So maybe that's what it takes, some, at the local level to say, no more. This has gone far enough. And they threw in a clause saying if he comes back around and starts doing things in the conservative fashion, they might reconsider it. But I don't think so. John McCain's not that kind of person. I think he's just going to keep doing what he's doing. I don't know that he's going to run again, but it's an interesting thing to look at anyway.
It is, and it kind of goes beyond just politicking. I mean, we've got a story in here that if you haven't heard it, it's going to shock you. Coming up about House Speaker John Boehner, and I think more and more we have a member of our Team Ninja organization that's really hound dogged the Benghazi situation, and she told me about this months ago. I'm not saying I didn't believe her. I believed her, but I didn't think it would ever come out. So anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to give it away. That's one of our major stories tonight. But we're going to have to follow this. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be timid. Every now and then you think, well, should I be careful? Should I? Are we the ones that are sabotaging this? And I started thinking today, as a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're not doing anything wrong here. All we're doing, we're not dramatic or anything like that. Not extremist. I mean, this is something that needs to happen, and I agree with you. What possible difference does it make if you put a rhino in? I mean, who cares? They make this argument that, oh well, let's get the most electable person because then we'll have so many in the Senate. Well, what difference does it make if they don't vote your way? And they don't. These people don't do it. They vote every time they vote with the left, and I'm tired of it too. It's just we got to fight this, ladies and gentlemen. There's no retreat. Fix bayonets. This is we're going headstrong into this, and we have some plans and some things that are going on within our organization that are very exciting. That we're going to try to help with that mission. Now it looks like Daryl Issa's spreading his wings a little bit here. I don't know what you never saw this one coming.
No, I didn't expect this, but Mr. Issa has, or Issa, as some in the Congress call him, is attending the annual Lincoln Day dinner on February 17th, and that's kind of a must-do for potential presidential candidates. Now, I haven't really thought of a Daryl Issa presidential run, but I'm kind of open to it. He's been, I think, one of the better members, but I didn't see it coming. But it is interesting. It sure beats someone like John Huntsman or whatever.
I couldn't believe that was a classic moment when he broke out in Mandarin Chinese. That was just bizarre, 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 bizarre. And here to find out, he's the guy that outed. What did he do? He gave Reed information about Romney or something. I can't remember it now, but he was a snake.
Oh yeah, he was. And if the Republicans are going to send us more John Huntsmans, that's why I think the battle is this year for the Republican Party.
I
This
agree.
is the battle, and the
I agree
bayonets.
100%. No doubt about it. But Daryl Issa, he was or Issa, I don't know what it is. What is it? Do you know?
It's ISA unless you're a member of the Black National Caucus, and then it's ISA.
Okay, Issa. So to my in my book, he was in on the short list for Attorney General, but he was getting beat out by Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy's my choice, and I was saying this. I think we should pick. I think when our candidate is selected, hopefully he's selected early, and he's not Chris Christie or Jeb Bush. Because if it's here's the deal, if it's Jeb Bush or Chris Christie, if they're running, they got big money behind them or whatever, that primary is going to last to the last day. It's going to be ugly and it's going to drain all your money. Because I'm not going down for that again. Uh, but hopefully, if we could select a candidate early and they get a good crew in there, why not preordain your cabinet? You know what I mean? Why not have your cabinet selected before the election so you can run as this team? I mean, think of that. If you had a strong cabinet set up already, with like Trey Gowdy as Attorney General or Alan West as Secretary of Defense, or you could just think of the possibilities.
Well, I think they're so afraid that if they put the names out there too early, it just gives the left time to dig more dirt and get it out there in the forefront. But if you got quality people, it shouldn't be an issue. So maybe they need to consider quality people like Alan West. I
Yeah,
mean, that's high quality.
absolutely. You can't take his credibility down. I mean, look what the Republican Party did to him. They redistricted, gerrymandered his district. I mean, come on, you know what that was about. They're terrified of that guy. Uh, so anyway, we'll see what ISA does. I don't think he's going to generate any steam, but he may. Uh, Now, what was the Democrat's name? I can't remember it. I looked at this article today and I forgot the guy's name. They say he's big time. I've hardly heard of him. But this guy, I guess his website, they must, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a company. Some big agriculture company must have got to this guy and bought him a car or something because he dropped amnesty from his website. And I know you're going to have the details because that's just who you are.
It is. It's Republican Bob Goodlet. chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. On his website back in 2012, it said, "In no event shall we grant amnesty to those who have broken our laws and entered our country illegally." But now that has been scrubbed, and it's quite curious because he was asked why this was no longer on his site, and his spokesperson said, one of the general, it sounds so much like the Obama administration. This website is periodically updated, and it was accidentally removed. Well, at last check, it was not there, so I mean, they could have put it back up. But this guy's obviously, you're right. He's he's been bought off. It's
Oh
quite
yeah,
obvious. He's from Virginia, by the way. I've never heard of the guy before, but
me
it
either.
is curious.
I'm sure he's got a Libby's license plate and probably a Del Monte has a Del Monte boat. You know, it's so easy to see through this stuff. They're prostitutes, man. That's what they are. They become prostitutes, and it's
It
sickening.
is. It is curious. I mean, we keep hearing about all the unemployed people in this country. They throw out numbers like 10 million or whatever. Uh, and here they are saying we got a worker shortage and we need to grant blanket amnesty to bring these workers in here. It's
Leftist
like they want it both ways.
leftist workers, I'll add too. I mean, these people are leftists. They come from that's all they ever saw. Uh, yeah, only in America can 92 million people be on relief, and there's a 6% unemployment rate. I mean, there's a problem. We
The corporate guys and the politicians that are getting their pockets stuffed with them, I mean, they talk about these as low wage jobs. Well, if you're flooding the market with cheap labor, that's why they're low wage jobs. They don't have to be low wage jobs. Stop flooding the market with, illegal immigrants coming here and taking these jobs. Let the market take care of the people in this country first. And then once these people get employed that are here legally and there's a shortage, then maybe invite a few over. But they got it all wrong. It's all about the money with them, and continued decline in the middle class of this country.
I'll tell you, the American workforce doesn't do a whole lot for its cause with some of the declining work ethic that you see too. I mean, I don't know if you ever had any work done or what. I think we did talk about this, uh, but illegal. I've only been exposed to Mexican uh, illegal labor, and boy, two of those guys could do the work of 17 union guys. I'm here to tell you. I had some carpet laid in my house, and you'd have needed a crane, a union rep, a medic on scene, and probably a lawyer and 16 laborers to get this carpet up the steps. And this dude folded it in half, put it on his back, stooped down, and shucked up 2 flights of stairs by himself. I'm here to tell you, man, these guys are working. They're working hard. So if you're not working hard, uh, and they do get in, you're going to have problems. It's just the way it is. But like what you were saying about the low wage jobs, that's right. Pretty soon, a job in a machine shop is going to be a low wage job if they do this.
It is. I mean, they act like these people come here and pick oranges and cut sugar cane for the rest of their lives. That's not what happens.
Nope.
They immediately move on to something that pays more. They have the drive because from where they come from, coming over here, they see the opportunity. And you're right, the American workforce is lazy in a lot of ways, but in the construction industry, there is so much shadiness with this. As far as licensing and insurance, these guys don't have workman's comp. These guys don't have a license. I mean, but the big home builders, the national home builders, turn a blind eye. They use everybody's a subcontractor from a subcontract. It's like an Amway thing. I mean,
It's a shell
it's
game.
all down. It's a down. What they call a downline or something. Yeah, it's a shell game. Nobody's an employee. They're all private contractors, and it's totally illegal. But they get away with it. But that's another rant for another day.
That's the ones who do it too. I'll call them out, man. I mean, Home Depot. What's the other one? Well, Home Depot's the one I used. Home Depot sent two guys over. Only one of them could speak just barely a little bit of English, and that's who installed my carpet that I bought there. And they did an excellent job. But shame on you guys because you're gonna lose your jobs over this. You really are. And
Yeah, well,
guarantee.
they hire a contractor, and that contractor hires a subcontractor, and that subcontractor hires another subcontractor. It's just a big scheme of getting out of licensing and insuring. But you know, that's a big that's a big issue with me. But
It's
I
money
know we
too.
got.
I mean, the cost of it is light. I mean, they're on every construction site in the country. Now,
That's right.
one of the things that's getting a little bit disturbing is China. The Chi-coms are really growing, man, and they've been crossing lines for the last 5 years, and nobody's paying attention. I mean, they got their first aircraft carrier this year, albeit used. They bought it at France's aircraft carrier auction or something. But they've surpassed the United States as the world's largest trading nation.
They did, and back in 2009, they passed as the largest exporter worldwide, and their exports rose 7.9% last year, and their imports rose shockingly 7.3%. These guys are on a tear. They're making a fortune, and we have to look at. I think we have to look at what we are doing as consumers here in the United States. I mean, so many things that we buy have parts or are completely made in China, but I think of the dollar stores, the Dollar Tree. I mean, almost everything except the soap is made over there. I mean, we're buying this stuff, and sometimes cheaper is not always better, and especially when it comes to tools and machinery and stuff like that. Their stuff is crap, but yeah, they're on a tear, and with all this money they're bringing in, they can afford to build a mighty military machine. And at this rate, it'll take another couple of decades, but it's a good chance I think they will have something for us.
Well, the problem with them too is their one child rule. Their one child rule has left them a surplus of military aged males that are about 25 right now. It started 25 years ago. So that's a shaky deal too. Manipulating their currency and things like that to keep everything cheap. I heard a guy out in San Francisco say that you can watch the Walmart containers come in and the scrap steel go out, heading back to China. So yeah, that's something that we definitely have to watch. Now, on the personal note, personal level, uh, not just me, but you and I are heading to a planning session in South Carolina this weekend, coming up the next weekend, to really try to. We've been lucky enough to be part of an organization that's really grown, and we're OGs, but it's really grown since we made our first effort, at least you and I, in Orlando last summer. So when we have a sponsor that's uh, given us the privilege of coming to her compound to put our heads together and really look at what we're going to do with 2014. We've got some really exciting interviews coming up. Hopefully, if this plays out, I'm not going to even say it because it's not my news, but we have a really exciting interview that's coming up, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to want to pay attention to the Wayne Dupree show on FTR radio and CPR radio and Spreecast because we're going to try to get them everywhere we can. I don't know. We might put an audio, a YouTube slideshow together and run the audio of the interview, but it's our best interview so far, and I'm really looking forward to it. Matter of fact, I'm going to prepare for it after the show. Looking forward to that. I can't tell you any more than that, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not sure whether the information is confidential or not. But uh, we'll just
It is a big, big interview, and you do not want to miss it.
we're hit,
Trust them.
we're hitting the big time, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving right along. I can't wait. The other thing is the first weekend of March, Steel City Resistance will be representing in at CPAC. And today I got some news. We got to back this up to Wednesday now.
Yeah, that's going to create a bit of a problem. I've already made my reservation
I
for
did too.
Thursday, and now I've got to see if I can roll it back.
I didn't make my
Boy,
plane.
that's
I didn't make the plane reservations yet, but I did make my expensive ass hotel reservations.
that's right. And if you want to visit mrjausa.com and help out with that, that would be great. There's a little donate button, but I do have the room reserved. The plane I didn't do yet, but it looks like I'm going to have to roll it back and add another expensive day to that room
If there's any available,
if there's any available. If not, it's going to be
it's
I'm
going
going
to
to
be
get off the
Thursday.
plane and I'm going to be in a conference at 9 a.m. So
All right, we'll have
tough.
to talk about that after the next. I'm going to go try that room thing right after the show. But SCR, or I mean, SteelCityResistance.blogspot.com also has a donate button that I fixed that you could go there if you wanted to help us. And also, Wayne Dupree, News Ninja 2012, has a donate thing there that it'll all help us. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a really great year, I think. If it's not, it's on us because we got a lot of other scheduled interviews and things too. So looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, your weekly Jihad Report, December 28th to January 3rd, 46 Jihad attacks, 11 Allah Akbars, 187 dead bodies, 414 critically injured. The religion of peace, ladies and gentlemen, one body at a time. I don't know if that was last week's Jihad report or if that was because that date is a little bit. I might have screwed you up, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize if I did, but that's what was posted there 20 minutes ago, half hour ago. Uh, so, for our big story of the evening, I think I didn't get a chance to scroll through these notes lately either. I hope there's enough stories on there. I had to work this week. Uh, Judicial Watch, a pretty respected organization, uh, is putting forward the question: is there a John Boehner Benghazi cover-up? And Stacy Rush, like I said, one of our Ninja Team members, had talked about this several times about there being a House bill that keeps on getting blocked by this other gang of seven. That was back when the gang of eight was running their amnesty thing. But they sent a message to Speaker Boehner. I don't know if it was them that sent the message or if it was actually, I thought it was the Special Forces folks. Trying to scan in here. But apparently, they sent a message that there's little doubt that Speaker of the House John Boehner is dodging a thorough, top to bottom, no holds barred investigation of the Benghazi terrorist attack. The only question is why. As the only non governmental organization in the country litigating in federal court to uncover the full story about what happened before, during, and following the Benghazi massacre, Judicial Watch knows firsthand that the full story has not been told and that a massive cover up is underway. As we said in our special report, the Benghazi attack of September 11, 2012, analysis and further questions from a diplomatic security service regional security officer and special agent, the entire tragic scenario is a story of political treachery in high places. And now it appears that John Boehner, the Republican Speaker of the House, has become a key player in the cover up, a willing participant in the political treachery. That is out of control.
That is. And just the thought, I never heard John Boehner really talk a whole lot about Benghazi. It's always been others, but wow. And now it appears that John Boehner, the Republican Speaker of the House, has become a key player. Oh, I already read that. My bad. That's why earlier this week, Judicial Watch joined forces with the grieving family members of the Benghazi terrorist attack, U.S. military leaders, and other prominent conservatives to call out Boehner on the wretched and deplorable job he's doing investigating the tragedy, or more likely blocking a thorough investigation. In a scathing letter delivered on January 6, 2014, Judicial Watch and our co-signers blasted the Republican leader, demanding that he install a select committee to investigate the atrocity. Forcefully and to the point, the letter informs the reluctant speaker, you have an opportunity to show your strong leadership and resolve a national disgrace perpetrated by specific public officials. You are failing.
There it is. There's his Twitter handle on the screen there. Call him out. We need to put some pressure on this guy because he'll fold. I mean, he won't have any choice. And I really think that he's holding some. I think probably what happened, he probably got briefed about this early on. He probably knew about it right around the same time. These people are slick, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they put people on their team so they can't like push for a prosecution or something. This dude knew something early, and he didn't say anything. He didn't have the balls to stop it. So, hey, if the ship's going down and he's on the ship, that he's on the ship. You know, we're not sitting here protecting somebody just because of ideology the way they do. Nope, not doing that. This is all about the truth. Shine some light on that orange sucker, and let's see justice be done. I mean, the guy hasn't done anything. If you think about it, if you think about this man has the power of the purse. He has control of the federal government's finances, sole control. He doesn't need a vote in the Senate. The president can't do anything about it. The Supreme Court can't do anything about it. The House has the exclusive power of the purse. Why are all these things happening? If you have an EPA that is shutting down a major industry in West Virginia, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and other states, the coal industry, why would you fund it? Stop funding the whole agency. Stop funding everybody but, certain personnel or something. Do something. You know, this is ridiculous. The same way with Obamacare, the same way with every agency. The IRS is no different. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I agree. I think, he was in on it. I think he was briefed being the Speaker of the House. And it is curious. I mean, coal, that affects his state as well. And there was no pushback from him. There was no pushback from John Boehner on hardly anything. And, his last tirade, he refused to push back anymore considering the little bit of pushback he did do.
Listen to a little excerpt from this letter. Some analysts believe your inaction and passivity towards getting to the truth concerning Benghazi is because you were briefed on the intelligence and special operations activities in Libya as a member of the Super 8. You may possess guilty knowledge. We recall how then Speaker Nancy Pelosi developed a form of amnesia concerning a documented briefing she received on so-called enhanced interrogation techniques, later termed torture, for political purposes. Are you in the same position as your predecessor? Are you dodging a legitimate, thorough, coordinated investigation of Benghazi because it will damage your political position as Speaker? The conclusion leaves no wiggle room for Boehner to dodge the issue. Just a little bit more on this. Mr. Speaker, we call upon you to act now and create a select committee on Benghazi to investigate all aspects of the United States' involvement in Libya, to include but not be limited to the attacks of September 11, 2012. It must now also include the protracted cover-up the American people, the families of the fallen, and those with loved ones serving overseas have endured. The new committee must have subpoena power capable staff members from both parties who are committed to finding the truth. Well, good luck on finding Democrats. Well, for Boehner, you would be able to find some Democrats, just not Obama or anybody else. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's ugly. It doesn't get much uglier than that. And there are no show notes links yet. I'll try to get them up but that's a pretty long letter and long story, but worthy of a few SCR minutes.
Absolutely. And I think it's not only Boehner, but I think there's other members of certain committees that know about this as well. And hopefully, we can get some answers on this, but I doubt it's going to be anytime soon, considering who we're dealing with here.
No, I agree. It's unfortunate but true. Now, one of the historic things that's happened this year, um, something that's very sickening to some of us, but Al Qaeda, once relegated to the hills of Afghanistan and some districts in Iraq and Pakistan, now controls more territory than ever before.
Yeah, this is from CNN, by the way. This is quite interesting. They'll have to discuss discipline in the ranks there, but from around Aleppo in western Syria to small areas of Fallujah in central Iraq, Al Qaeda now controls territory that stretches more than 400 miles across the heart of the Middle East, according to English and Arab language news accounts, as well as accounts on jihadist websites. Indeed, Al Qaeda appears to control more territory in the Arab world than it has done in any time in history. The focus of Al Qaeda's leaders has always been regime change in the Arab world in order to install a Taliban style regimes. Al Qaeda's leader, al Zawahiri, acknowledged as much in his 2001 autobiography, Nights Under the Banner of the Prophet, where he explained that most of the important strategic goal of Al Qaeda was to seize control of a state or part of a state somewhere in the Muslim world, explaining that without achieving this goal, our actions would mean nothing. And we have no one other to thank than Barack Hussein Obama
Oh
himself for
yeah,
this.
this guy. I mean, I'll tell you, the more days that go past and you realize that we gave Iraq back, I mean, that stings, man. That's if you guys remember the feelings in the pits of your stomach back in the early 2000s, and well, I mean, I was affiliated with the military at the time. You see a truck that you're, familiar with on fire and contractors hanging from bridges. That was Fallujah. That's where that happened. So um, wow, you watch it now and you see the Al Qaeda turban heads with their black flags, and the beheadings are starting, and the civilians are living in fear again, and we're not going back. I mean, it's just like Vietnam. We're not going back. We're done. We're done there. Not just because of money either, but all the relationships that people built, with Iraqi officers and things like that. They're all betrayed. They feel betrayed, like just about anybody that deals with us anymore is. Uh, I mean, the Al Nusra Front has claimed to control parts of at least a dozen Syrian towns. Those include sections of the ancient city of Aleppo in the northwest, where fighters have been filmed running a community fair and preaching Al Qaeda's values to crowds of children. Al Nusra fighters allied to Al Qaeda function like a government in areas that they control in Syria. The group provides daily deliveries of bread, free running water and electricity, a health clinic, and a strict justice system based on Sharia law. That's the kicker right there. In the eastern Syrian city of Ashadadi, where it also took control of the city's wheat silos and oil wells. They'll be starving soon. In September, a CNN reporting team concluded Al Qaeda has swept to power with the aim of imposing a strict Islamist ideology on Syrians across large swaths of Syria's rebel held north.
In some, Al Qaeda affiliates now control much of northern and northwestern Syria, as well as parts of eastern Syria, as well as much of Anbar province, which is around a third of the Iraqi territory. Al Nusra is engaged in a protracted fight to maintain a foothold in the eastern city of Deir al Zur, whereas in Ash Shaddai, the militants have their hands on the energy source this time in the form of natural gas.
That's wonderful. So that's what you've accomplished, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats. That's going down in the history books. That's one for you. Just like the way we did that in Iraq too. The way we just the 4-star general's asking for 15,000 troops, and the dude from Chicago says no. You know, it's just something else.
This is setting up the stage for a much, much more dangerous, bloody, deadly battle in the future. I mean, this can't go unchecked forever.
That's true. I mean, this is something that right now you have the potential. Listen to the potential of this. Everybody get a map out. And you know, let me get mine. I don't
Hutch
have
is
it.
getting
I used to have it over there. I had it for just this conversation.
he's going to show us the
Anyway, no,
middle.
I'm not. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
improvise. I'm gonna have to improvise. Hope I'm right here. Uh, but you have Iran on this caliphate that I'm talking about. You have Iran all the way on the east, and then you have Iraq to the west. And in Iraq, in its western quarter, you have Al Anbar province, which shares a border with Jordan and Syria, I think. I know it's Syria, and I think Jordan shares a border with them too. But you've got all these countries surrounding. Iran is running the show. Make no mistake about it. Iran is running this show. Iran's the only stable country in the region. All right, Iran has a stable government at this point. It's not a good government and it's not a popular government, but they got more soldiers than protesters. So they have a free reign of all this, and in their minds is one big country. That's what's in their minds. They want one big country, and they're almost there. If they can knock, the only thing that's stopping them though is they didn't think Assad was going to hold. Assad's kicking ass in Syria, and in my opinion, that's good for the world. I don't care what John McCain says. A lot of Christians live in Syria, and they weren't dying when Assad was in power. You know, life might not have been perfect, but it wasn't Sharia law. You know, and I also, in Libya is the same way. You know, Libya, Gaddafi was a benevolent leader. Uh, I didn't realize that until I saw some things. This guy got made sure everybody in Libya, I mean, it's not like constitutionally right, but everybody, I mean, you got to admit it's a desert. Libya is a desert. Libya is the shit you see in the movies when people are having illusions and stuff, you know, that's Libya and Syria, or I mean, and Al Anbar province is like that too. What's that called when you see something? A mirage.
Mirage.
When you see the ocean because it's so hot out, that's what this is, right? But he had everybody getting a bonus check from the oil production. Uh, he gave you like a $50,000 wedding present. It was pretty weird, man. Some of the stuff he did, and gas was kind of high. It was like 14 cents a gallon. But anyway,
Well, Libya, from I don't know if it's in our show notes today, but Libya is starting to fall apart again, and it's starting to be taken over by the radicals. And you think about the large swath that these people are starting to control in much of Africa. I mean, they're setting the stage for devastation
yeah,
all across that continent, and it's been bloody there for years, but it's just getting worse. And you've got a couple of countries that are pushing back on it, but I mean, it's just getting way out of hand, and this is just setting up. I know Terry is talking prophetic, uh, and there's right, and that is if memory serves me correctly, Egypt sits this one out. But Terry can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it's setting the stage for a much bigger battle, and we got to be ready for it.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's something. It's and it does have biblical implications. I mean, I'm thinking that uh, I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm still thinking we can affect it a little bit here, but maybe not. Maybe who knows? Maybe God will affect it through our country. I don't know. The devil seems to be doing it right now. That's for sure. I mean, I just can't believe. I couldn't imagine 5 years ago that we would have supported so many scumbags, man. I mean, so many uh, Islamists just openly, overtly supported these people. I mean, it's amazing to me. John Boehner, what's up? Where are you, man? What's going on? This is happening. And I want to know who in the Muslim Brotherhood has McCain paid off. I mean, who's giving him money? Because this guy, he's drunk when it comes to these people. I mean, I think it's Saudi Arabia. I do. I think Saudi Arabia is the key. And I would love to see, is there one patriotic FBI agent out there? Just one. Two of you would be better. Three would be even better. Break a story here. You know what I mean? Be a hero. It's time for George Washington. Jump out there, jump on your horse, and expose this. And then go to another.
Absolutely. Now, last month, the United States quietly sent Hellfire missiles and surveillance drones to the Iraqi government to support their fight against increasing Al Qaeda related violence. This weaponry is unlikely to make a substantial difference to the mounting violence in Iraq, where violence has returned to levels that was 2008, near the height of the Iraq War. Indeed, by any reasonable standard, Iraq is now mired back in civil war. Last year, almost 8,000 Iraqi civilians were killed in the conflict, according to the UN. So the administration is quietly trying to slip a few band-aids over there to try to ease the bleeding a little bit. This is not going to make a bit of difference.
This is head dust material right here. I mean, did you see the new Al Qaeda tank that just came out? That new tank that Al Qaeda has, it's badass. Have you seen it? That's what Hellfire missiles are for, to kill tanks. Al Qaeda doesn't have tanks.
I haven't seen it. That's a good point.
You know, I mean, now if you're in the Marines, and some guys in the 82nd Airborne, you will use a Hellfire missile to take one guy out, but that's just because they're nuts. You know, they'll go ahead and spend $1 million on one dude, but anyway, that's bizarre. I'll tell you what, it's over. You gave the country away, President Obama. You did it. It's on your watch. It's going to be underneath your Wikipedia, you know, or whatever people are doing by then. You gave away Iraq. You gave away Iraq. You and your party did the same thing to Iraq that they did to Vietnam in 1975. Same exact thing. You know, and we'll see how long Baghdad lasts. It took a couple years for the North Vietnamese army to roll into Saigon and change the name of the city and kill everybody. We'll see how long it takes these guys to get into Baghdad. You know, real good job, outstanding. And Damascus next, maybe Tripoli. You know, who knows? Oh man, the consequences of this stuff. It just boggles my mind, man. I think all those people with their legs blown off, you know, and their faces shot off for nothing. It's unbelievable. It's a national embarrassment, a national disgrace, and we do not have time for all the rest of these stories, because I'm ranting too much. Take us to the next one. It is good radio. Watching Hutch get mad, that's good radio anyway.
Oh, yeah. Now, we got a Democratic Senator, Udall, asked state to cook books on Obamacare numbers. Now, CompeteColorado.com reports that emails show U.S. Senator Mark Udall office pressured the Colorado Division of Insurance to downplay the number of insurance cancellations caused by the rollout of Obamacare. A full 249,199 Colorado citizens were victimized by Obamacare's cancellations, according to the emails. Udall's office hoped to change the definition of a cancellation as a way to lower the number. All this occurred late last year as the storm around cancellations was engulfing Democrats and the president.
I'm telling you, I mean, they did it too. I mean, from an email inside the Colorado Division of Insurance, DOI, Director of External Affairs Joe Donlin bluntly stated to her colleagues, Senator Udall says our numbers were wrong. They are not wrong. The cancellation notices affected 249,000 people. They want to trash our numbers. I'm holding strong while we get more details. Many have already done early renewals. Regardless, they received cancellation notices. That was sent November 14th. But this whole thing has been just a mess from the beginning. It's just it's like the Republican Party. It smells like dead fish.
Yeah. Now, I guess this Udall won his Senate seat with only 53% of the vote in a wave year for Democrats. So there's some possibilities that he might not be able to hold this seat. But um, it just goes to show, you've talked so much about changing the language, changing what is. This is exactly what they're doing. This
Sure.
thing is a piece of crap, and they can't make it smell good,
Right.
even with these change of terms. But yeah, it's more of the same. But we'll have to keep an eye on what goes on there in Colorado. It could be an
Yeah,
interesting battle.
that's true. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're talking with your friends or arguing with your coworkers or whatever, uh, I totally just forgot what I was going to say. Holy pew. Anyway, I'll get back to it. I'll remember. It's been a busy day. I'll tell you what. But the thing is, the language is important. The language is so important, and they're using it as a weapon. I wrote about it on News Ninja 2012. It's they bring in these behavioral analysts, and they see what kind of words people react to, and they try to make it to where it's either as soft or as hard, depending on what their mission is, as possible. And they're very good at it. They've been doing it a long time, and it's time that we realized it and recognized it and fought back. I mean, you can tell that there's something going on when more than one journalist uses the same exact term verbatim. When that happens, and it happens a lot, that's when you know to look out for some game-changing gravitas moment, or something like that. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize one of our viewers, Terry Jung, is very active in helping us get information and different things like that. I want to thank you tonight publicly. And I will also tell you that we are going to do a story. I haven't developed it yet. I had to work this weekend. Maybe Mr. J can find something on it, but it's something I do want to talk about. It's the bonus army situation that happened. This situation happened after World War One. Returning U.S. veterans came back and were almost immediately plunged into a depression, and were living real hard. And they were promised a bonus by the federal government, and the federal government hee-hawed and wanted it to go all the way to 1945, I believe, for the payment. They said they were going to do the payment, but we'll bring details to you. The bottom line is the United States Army expelled these veterans, and we'll get details probably next week for the bonus army and that story that is apparently widely untold because Terry hadn't seen it before, and I've talked to others that never heard of it. And it was interesting to me because I learned about it a long time ago. I might even have been in school. But the picture, the iconic picture of this incident in Washington, D.C., was General MacArthur standing there with his aide, Major Dwight Eisenhower. I just thought that was kind of interesting and iconic. Uh, MacArthur was a general for a long time, needless to say, too long. One of the worst generals in history at the end of his career. Anyway, that being said, uh, okay.
We're
Now
going
we
to
have
Georgia.
little racist problem down there. This Democrat opposes the party's new director because she's white. Imagine that. The new cool.
Curious. Rebecca DeHart has accepted the position as executive director of the Georgia Democratic Party, but because both she and the chairman are white, State Senator Vincent Fort is expressing his concern at a lack of racial diversity. Georgia State Senate Vincent Fort has voiced opposition to the appointment of Rebecca as executive director of the Georgia Democratic Party because she is white. Fort, the Democratic whip who is African American, claimed DeHart was promoted to her leadership role through a good old boy approach, led by the state party chairman, Dubois Porter, who is also white.
Outstanding.
In 2013, the Democratic Party ought to reflect the rich diversity of Georgia Democrats. When you have a chairman who is white and an executive director who is white, that rich diversity is not reflected, Fort told the Atlanta Journal Constitution. after the party's executive committee approved DeHart's appointment Tuesday. So don't you just love Democrat infighting? I sure do.
Oh yeah, you'd like to have that affirmative action in positions. Might as well do it in the government too. And to be or not to be, I digress. I was incorrect in my timeline. I will have that much more accurate when I do a little bit more research on the story and bring it to you. Just trying to give you a teaser, but obviously I was way off on the timeline. Thank you. Got to keep me straight because that's what's important here. The truth's important, and it's if I say something wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But I wasn't really wrong. No. Anyway, it's an interesting and sad, tragic story. Now it seems that you hear all these people out in the street. They're protesting, and they want more Obama phones, and they want they vote 99.9% for this guy. The war on poverty's biggest casualties are you folks. Stop it. 50 years after liberals launched their sacrosanct war on poverty, Americans, and black Americans in particular, are not better off. But neo-Marxist ideologue that he is, President Obama is determined to double down on the leftist failure, widening the so-called war by calling for the biggest welfare spending increase in American history, amounting to more than $10 trillion over a decade, according to the Heritage Foundation's Robert Rector. I saw an infographic. That's a new term they're using now, right? Infographic that showed states, and some of these people are making $20 an hour on welfare.
Oh yeah, you add in the food, the check, the EBT, and the housing assistance. Some of them are even doing better than that.
That's something else. I mean, that's got to be stopped. There has to be some incentive to get off this damn thing, or it's going to take the whole country down.
It is. I mean, they're basically giving them enough money to pay their house or their rent and pay the payments on their 4x4 pickup if they live in the trailer park, or if it's the Escalade if they live in the hood or whatever. That was a joke, people. Don't take that wrong. But
You're on this show with me. We have haters. I'll tell you what, there's been a backlash though, because 2013 is the year of the gun.
indeed, it is. Following the heinous crime at Sandy Hook Elementary in December 2012, Democrats plan to turn 2013 into the year of gun control. But thanks to the efforts of law-abiding gun owners, the new media, Fox News, and the NRA, 2013 turned into the year of the gun. It began with a surge in gun sales across the country in the first quarter of 2013, driven by the concern that President Obama and Senators Dianne Feinstein and Joe Manchin would succeed in passing gun control in the wake of the Sandy Hook school shootings. This surge contributed to a record-breaking year that eventually totaled 21 million background checks for gun purchasers.
Wow, that's a lot. I'll tell you what, and a friend of mine, a local gun dealer, he said that I think he said it went from 900 a month, right at the height where you couldn't get an AR-15, right at the height, or they were like $1,700 or whatever. He said he went from I think 900 guns a month to 3,000. In that time period, his sales tripled. I mean, people were coming in there and they were asking, "Hey, can you get this model or this model?" And the guy's like, "There's like 10 guys behind the counter, right? You've been to these things." But the guy's like, "Look, man, a box comes in and we unload it and we put them out here and we sell them and then they're gone and then another box comes in tomorrow. I don't know what's coming in when, but it's not going to happen like that. You got to come in here and see." So I think that's pretty much over now. It is the same thing with ammunition. But there was a real situation with ammunition, especially 22 long rifle and 5.56 millimeter was in scarce supply, and 9 millimeter. Now what happened was all the ammunition manufacturers, there was a run on 223 on 5.56, there was a run on it, and there was a run on 9 millimeter. So what they did is all the ammunition plants shut down all their specialty calibers operations and went 100% on those two calibers, and they ran like that for months. So you couldn't find like a 308 or a something like that. There was just 380 or any of the real exotic calibers. You weren't finding them because nobody was making them. Now they're all back to full scale operations. I actually contacted a couple of them because 22 long rifle was rough.
Yeah, some of my colleagues at another site, Hay and 2BR and Paul know, we have a friend that's a gun dealer. He owns a gun shop, and he said this Obama administration was the best thing that ever happened to his
Oh,
store. I
yeah.
mean, he retired now, but I mean, it was his business was booming. He did a lot of customizations and smithing and stuff like that, and it was just a boon for him.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was. Yeah, I know, Aaron. 22 was tough. I mean, we're all squared away now. We'll never let that happen again. Uh, but it was something. We had. I belong to a gun club, and we have a 22 shoot, and we have a pistol shoot, and I shoot 22 pistol for this because it's a good target pistol. But we had we had to get ammo donated to us from like the big sporting goods stores around here because you couldn't buy stuff, man. I mean, you couldn't get it. And then they came in and you had low quality stuff or low velocity ammunition. It was garbage. I think we're good to go now, though. Everybody kind of calmed down. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, especially you leftists, I can almost guarantee you that 90% of those 20 million that we just mentioned and the people that were on the ammunition are not leftists, and they have all that right now. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying anything. I'm just I'm definitely not saying anything, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of ammo out there. There's a lot of people you wouldn't expect uh, that know what time it is. Anyway, um, I don't even think we can go into any more of the stories right now. I'll try to get them posted on the website on the show notes links page. I may or may not be able to do that. I have a lot of other things I have to do this evening, not the least of which is to publish this show. So I'm going to send it over to you, Chris, and for your final thoughts and for your information, and we'll shut her down.
All right, thanks, Hutch. Yeah, and when the show notes are up, I think there's another story about the missing recovery. Check it out. Pretty good read. Anyways, you can find me at Chris Ivan at Facebook or at mrjausa.com or mrjausa at Facebook, Twitter, and Tea Party community. Thank you for being here. Join us next week. Are we able to do a show next week? We might have to skip
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we can do that. We can still do it if we have an internet connection. We're good.
Okay, we're good to go. Join us next week. Watch your Twitter feed. We'll post it.
Yeah, we might have to do it when I'm back at the hotel, and you're going to stay in the thing. We could do a spreecast that way. We'll figure it out, one way or the other. Thank you, and we're going to take the Southern Command and put it back on reserve status. Thank you very much, Mr. J. We will catch up with you shortly, and thank everybody in the chat room. I appreciate that. Roy, Ogie's dad, to be or not to be, Hey, Terry Jung, CNN News, Ryan Kraft, Alan Johnson, Aaron Scott, and a couple visitors from Mars. We appreciate it. You guys get a free Spreecast account. Get your picture up there, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, you can catch the website at steelcityresistance.blogspot.com. I am Hutch Bailey Jr. on Facebook, Berg's Eye View on Twitter, and you can email the show at scrtv@live.com. Thanks for hanging in there, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you letting us into your life for an hour, and God bless. We will check you out next time.